Previously on Accidentally Derivative.
I think I have inherited my sneeze
You're more
from my
evolved,
grandfather,
probably.
because my sneezes are extremely violent and and loud, and sometimes they come completely out of nowhere. It's like there's not a thing about sneeze. I mean, there is, sometimes there is, but sometimes I'm just holy crap. What in the heck?
I don't think I've gotten to experience that. So
I've scared people with my sneezes.
I can imagine.
Before.
Yeah, you
and
think?
It's I've always had. Maybe it's a function of the diaphragm, right? Maybe because I've always been able to project, from the diaphragm, and maybe that's one of the reasons why my sneezes are so bad. I don't know, but it's
now I feel like I
oddly
need to
pleasant
see
to
it.
sneeze.
Now I feel like I need to experience it. So
You will eventually. But
so you almost had jury duty today.
yeah. I more or less
And
did. I was up
don't
there for
understand-
a very long time to end up not being a juror.
So you sent me that picture of the jury summons, and then I was like, okay, yeah, we're going to talk about this. This will be fun. But then the fact that you went, I didn't realize. I guess I didn't look at the date to see how imminent it was. But why didn't you get out of it? Like, you almost died. Like, you think?
Well, that's the
You were
thing.
just
Like, when I
not
got
feeling
the
well
jury
yesterday.
summons was like very shortly after I got home from the hospital, and so I was.
Oh! So you just got the summons still in the past month?
Yeah. I got. Well, I don't remember if I was in the hospital when it actually arrived, or
That's not normal.
or if I was out
Is it?
of the hospital. Well, I was discharged from the hospital on the 3rd of October.
No, but the jury summons coming, and then having to report for jury. Usually, you get like a 6 month. It's like a long period of time in the future.
I don't remember when I got it, but it was not. I did not have it when I went in the hospital.
Okay.
I don't think. But I remember, I remember seeing it and going, oh,
Okay.
just add insult to injury. Because it's not one thing, it's another around here.
Interesting.
But yeah, I remember either becoming aware of it at first or getting it very shortly after I got home. And when I was first at home, I was not much better than I was in the hospital. I was still hurting a lot.
Yeah.
I still could not.
That's why I'm
sleep.
surprised you didn't postpone your jury.
Well, that was a thing. I was like not in the mental state to even deal with that. I was like, I'll deal with that later. Because I saw that it wasn't until November. And so I was like, well, I'll handle it later. And then I completely forgot about it. I tried to get a deferment, and I was past the date or whatever. But here's the other thing is like the last, since Friday, I've kind of experienced a little bit of it's a very small step back, but it's been kind of a step back in the recovery process. I've started to feel
That's not my fault.
low. No, it's not your fault. Not that I can prove anyway.
It's not the oat milk. It's not.
No.
Okay.
It's actually started happening before that.
Okay.
But yeah, like some low grade fever and some stuff like that. The docs are not concerned about it, but they do say that if it gets any worse, then you need to give us a call, and we might have to.
What would be
do some
called?
stuff.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
But yeah,
bore these people with
so that started happening, and so I looked at the deferment. And of course, I'm way past the. You're supposed to do that 10 days before you show up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I showed up today, and I was up there. It wasn't all that bad, and I kind of wish that I had been able to do it because it was kind of neat. I was going to be on a criminal case.
Are you allowed to tell us what it was about?
I am not. Yeah,
You can't even tell us what it was about?
they say I can't say anything about it. But just
how about like 6 months from now when we circle back? Are you allowed to then talk about
well,
what it was about?
I will tell you this, that it was presumably, according to them, going to be pretty open and shut, because they said that even if I got selected, I would be up there the rest of today and tomorrow, and that would be it.
Oh,
so
okay.
they weren't
Okay.
expecting anything huge.
What court was it? We're
Ninth
could look-
District,
I could look at the summons.
Orange
like
County,
circuit-
Ninth
circuit
District
court? Oh, district court.
District Court, yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, the I will tell you this: if you get summoned for jury duty at the Ninth District, take a friggin' trench coat or something big. Take a coat. I like it cold. Those people are penguins. It was insane how cold
Yeah,
it
because
was
I'm
in
sure a lot
that
of people
building.
from Florida are showing up in trench coats at the courthouse
Yeah.
and not getting odd looks.
No, everybody that works there had a sweater on. They knew what was up, but they don't tell you that.
They should have a sweater vending machine out there that
should.
helps to fund the court softball team or something.
It's like a Gap outlet over there. Gives them a kickback,
LL Bean right around the corner.
so you can get it with a little judge scales, little justice scales on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so so we went through a whole deliberation. I've had, oh my God. Okay, so anybody that doesn't know, my mom was a trial lawyer. My stepfather is a United States
There's no
District Court
chance
judge.
you're getting picked. Not getting picked.
Well, actually, that didn't ever come up. But the thing, I mean, maybe I just wasn't there for that part of it. But the thing is I understand what reasonable doubt is, and yet I have had it explained to me exhaustively 3 different times today. It's like, I know. Like, can we get to the part where you're asking us questions to see if we need to leave? And then they ask like weird things like they'll explain presumption of innocence, and then they ask us all if we agree with that or not. Like, is that how it should be or not? And I'm like, okay, I guess I get that, but wow, like, has anybody answered? No, that's not good. That's not right. I'd love to have seen that. But yeah, we go through all of this stuff where I've had I felt like this could have been handled with like 2 Schoolhouse Rock videos, and we all would have been on the same page at that point. I understand that other people don't understand the legal system as well as I do. I mean, there's a million people that understand it better, don't get me wrong. But I was brought up in a lawyer household, and so I get it, I guess, maybe on levels that other people don't. But it's not super duper complicated, these parts anyway. And so, like, wow, I've had the explain it like I'm 5 sort of version of the American judicial system a few times today. And at the end of that, they were like, does anybody have any medical reasons that they might not be able to do the thing? We will talk to you guys individually since it's medical and they don't want to expose everybody's privacy. And so I raised my hand for that, and I told them the whole spiel. And I wish I could have pointed them to this episode because that would have been very convenient. But and then they were just kind of like, okay, yeah. And then they dismissed me for lunch, and I had to come back at 1. And then that's when they let me go, or they let, a bunch of us go. So I don't know, the stuff where it may have been that I would have been let go anyway because
Did they have you fill out the questionnaire or anything? Like, didn't you have to?
I had to do that online before I showed up.
And one of the questions isn't, are you like as a member of your household, or are you like a lawyer?
There was
Usually
that
they ask,
for law enforcement, but not for
attorneys. Lawyer, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, interesting.
So,
Usually for me, it's like when they ask, whether they ask if you are a lawyer, at least in California.
No, they did ask me that, yeah.
And then
And
once
I'm not. I don't know if you
I always
know.
go up. I have to go up to the person and say like, I'm not a lawyer.
I did my
see,
1L.
But right, and like, so I'm not sure how to answer this question. All you have to do is like, once you say that, they're like, you're out.
Yeah, okay.
The fact that the fact that you're talking to us already.
I took the
we can't deal
LSAT.
with
Is
you.
that where-
we
is
can't
that
deal
the
with?
same
Right. I
It's
probably
like, no,
did
you know
pretty
what, the blue house is blue because it's next to the red house. So I'm pretty much a lawyer, right? I mean, that's more or less right.
Oh, and if that doesn't work, then there's always the they like to have you ever thought about like everything that happens to us, like everything we do is either because of all of our collective experiences that we've had or our genetic predispositions. Like, is anyone really in control of what they're doing anyway?
Yeah, they love that.
That usually works too. Yeah.
I like George Carlin's thing of tell them that you'd make a perfect juror because you can spot guilty people just like that. It's like, don't try to get out of it. Tell them you want it. Because you are good at spotting guilty people.
I'm so glad I'm here. Oh my God.
That guy's guilty.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this.
But speaking of what does and does not make you a lawyer, did you see where I think it's Oregon is doing away with the bar exam?
Really?
They're going for a more of an apprenticeship kind of thing. They're like you do the certain number of hours under an established lawyer, and building like a skill set and a familiarity with that whatever style of law you're wanting to do, and I don't know if style is the right word, but whatever flavor, whatever genre.
They're still requiring law school.
Oh yeah, they're requiring law school. But
like Virginia, I don't think, maybe it's changed, but I think Virginia is like the only state that doesn't require law school. You can
pass the bar just on your own. You're good enough to
you can actually read for it. Yeah,
I guess it kind of makes sense, but the reasoning is that the bar exam is pretty much most of it is useless
the first
and doesn't
year.
apply.
It's testing the first year's knowledge, the stuff that you did like 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, I mean it's like
and then like you study all this stuff, you take this immensely hard exam, and it was pointless because you didn't learn anything that you're going to use. Like a good chunk of it, you're not going to use. But in this sort of apprenticeship thing, you do these things and you get evaluated by. There's still like a bar evaluation board or whatever that takes a look at the work you've done. And does that merit you a membership into the bar or whatever?
Don't you wonder whether there was a lawyer who like so struggled with passing the bar that they thought, one day I'm ever in a position where I can destroy this thing.
Stupid thing.
I'm going to yank it out at the roots because it's surprising because a lot of legislators are lawyers and everything. Like so, it's and usually just like doctors. For board certification, they love to stick it to the new guy. They love to make it.
God,
you know what? I had to do this, so would you. I
hate that.
Like attitude. They love to do it. Every profession, especially the licensed professions, they all do it. They love it. They love it, and it also sets up this nice barrier to entry. So it keeps the competition down. Yeah. So that's it's shocking that they are changing, but more power to them. More power to them. I wonder how that's going to impact the reciprocity states, because I imagine that Oregon and Washington and California probably have some degree of reciprocity.
Surely they've worked that out in some ways. I don't know.
Interesting.
But and it's not
it's
not effective immediately. I think I don't know if it's next year or year after that.
Like 75 years from now. It's like the census being released.
We're getting rid of it by 2319. That's right. 2319. Won't they be surprised?
2319.
Some guy's like, oh, wait. Okay, a thing that passed 300 years ago has done away with the bar exam, I guess. I didn't notice that until today. There was a calendar reminder.
Speaking of calendar reminders, what's with your 8 a.m. doctor's appointment?
Okay, it's the concept of the 8 a.m. doctor's appointment that really kind of, like, that shouldn't be available to you. Like, because you're getting there, your appointment starts when the doctor's office opens.
Yeah.
So you're not getting seen at 8. Yeah. You're supposed to, like, if I have an appointment at 11, I'm going to get there at 10:45 so that they'll, be ready for me at 11, and I might actually walk back into the doctor area at 11. But if the place doesn't open till 8 o'clock is not an available appointment slot. as much as you want it to be, it ain't, because like the 8 o'clocks and the 8:15s are the same people. You know, it's like we have one slot that's full of twice as many people
And
as
they're
any of
bunching
the
all
other
up on
slots.
you too. You're like, wait, no, you wait, and you know doesn't that irritate you when like the 8:15 person? It doesn't even matter whether it's 8 or 8:15, but like that person who's like after you gets there like just before you.
Yeah.
And like somehow now they're getting your slot potentially because even though
especially if you got that
they all have that
sign-in
piece
sheet.
of paper you sign in.
Yeah, the sign-in sheet, and they put their appointment time down there, and it's later than your appointment time.
Yeah, it was with that. Like,
and it right now is before both. So
I'm gonna draw little arrows when that happens. Like little
I am
arrows
here when I'm supposed to be here.
Circle, circle, underline,
It's not
underline,
like I'm
underline, circle, circle,
late.
circle. Yeah, nothing will get you seen faster than complaining about the check-in sheet and the guy who just checked in ahead of you. They love that.
Or like scratching out their appointment time and making it like 2 hours later.
Yeah, can you imagine? You go back and you go, hey, buddy, I think you need to sign in again. Like, what do you mean? I don't know. Somebody scratched your stuff out. Like, I don't know. It's like, you're the only one up there.
Cheese somebody out. Well, one of the
It's just the
doctor's
two of you in
people
the
did
room.
that.
It's just-
Did you cheese him off last time you were here? Boy, you weren't a jerk to him, right? They scratched your ass out.
That would be the best. That would be the best. Oh my god. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. This and Michelle and I, we went to one of her. So this goes back a year almost when she had a recheck for her ankle surgery thing, and we get over there, and it was an early morning appointment ish, not first, but pretty close to first. And we were there dutifully on time, like ahead of time, and you know, got the scooter thing going, getting up there, yada yada. We're all like, we're waiting. Actually, that might have been before the scooter. Anyway, and we were waiting. And I checked in with the person, and then we're waiting, and then we see other people. You see the people come and go, and then you see somebody like get called back. Now some people are there for other providers, some people are there for just for X-rays and stuff. But you start to wonder, like, wait a second, have they forgotten about us? Have they passed us? Like, what's happening? So we wait. I mean, you know, I'm sitting there. We wait like 45 minutes. I'm trying to be polite because I don't want to upset the people who have sharp instruments. And then I finally say to Michelle, it was when Michelle starts to get irritated, that's when I know, okay, because she's so laid back and so relaxed. And I'm the one who's like, come on, right? And so I'm like, no, okay, I'll get up. And I go over to the desk and I say, excuse me, we had such a time, whatever it was, and your name is Michelle Knapp. And she looks, she's like, oh. She's like, I thought you guys. She's like, I totally forgot to check you into the system. She admitted it at least. She's like, I forgot to check you into the system, and so it registered you as a no-show. So like canceled your appointment. I'm like, and I look at her like, oh,
well,
what are we gonna do about
what are we gonna do?
Because I'm here and you're here. So
you've got the system.
yeah, so they ended up getting us wedged in, but then you're like, no, I'm getting a rush job.
Well, yeah.
You know, because they thought they had all this roomy schedule, and they're like, oh, we can talk extra. Yeah, that's complicated.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. I've ever since the incident, I've had a lot more experience with various types of doctors and appointments, and man, I have had so many stinking CT scans and MRIs. I got to tell you, I would have 35 CT scans before I would have another MRI. I hate the freaking MRI machine. It's not the thing that thing that's the worst part for me. Number one is, why can't they pipe soothing music through those earphones? But number two, because apparently it's just the lady,
or even ads, like something.
Just
Tell me
something.
about
You
the
put an
gobbler.
audiobook in there.
What is it? Yeah.
But it's like, no, you can't be
audiobook.
entertained, because that screws up your brain. And I mean, we're not scanning your brain, but we don't want to screw up your brain by having it be entertained while we're doing this. But the thing that's the worst is, especially now, remember I told you that the pancreas stuff presented a lot like pericarditis in that when you breathe in real deep, it hurts.
Oh, I know where you're going.
And one of the things you have to do in an MRI a lot is breathe in and hold your breath while it does some stuff. And it does 13 clangs before you can let your breath out. And because I counted them so that I could anticipate. And you have to do it a lot.
I was going to say, this isn't just like a one and done thing.
No, if that was the case, then that would be fun.
You don't have to do that when if they're doing an MRI of your knee or your
No.
You don't have to do that. But
since I'm doing center stuff, I got to breathe in and hold, and that's painful. And it's done a lot to where even if it wasn't painful, like the one I did 2 or 3 weeks after I got out. To see how things are progressing. That is kind of funny that the GI spec I saw on Monday this week was like, he was looking at the CT scans. He was like, yeah, okay, because you can see this, that, and the other. And he's like, and MRIs, it's like MRIs are a lot. Like if you're not a radiologist, it's very difficult to read these things.
Yeah,
it's like even the doctors don't like them.
Much better for it. And then you get the cool like color things going with the CTs and stuff. They can
MRI is like
it's really
like,
cool.
There's just garbage on the screen, and it's like
for certain things, for certain soft tissue type things, I think it's super duper helpful. But
probably, but it's like the guy was like way easier to see where things were going, and I could more easily see how things were going with the CT scans than with the MRI. But the MRI is the most recent, so that's what we had to use as a comparison. But the point is that even then, when it wasn't as painful for me to suck in and hold my breath, even just the holding of the breath. I mean, you think you can hold your breath a lot of times, but you don't really know that until you have to try. And we're not talking 5 times, 10 times. We're talking, I had to hold my breath like that some 35, 40 times. And it gets to the point where you're like, I don't know if I can do it this time. I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Breaks me.
Because I hold it, and like my perception of the world around me gets weird. It starts fading. And it's like this, I think I need some oxygen.
We're gonna need a break. Can you take a break? Can you just a breathing break, please?
Can you scan my lungs and see that I'm not doing too good in here? But yeah, and then the hilarious part of that is that number one, the machine errored out one time, and so she had to come in.
What do you mean they errored out?
I don't know. That's what she said. I'm stuck in the tube. What do I know? She just had to come in and like, I don't know, reboot it or something. And I don't know if we like lost our progress. She didn't tell me one way or the other on that. Because I was in there for 55 minutes in that damn tube.
Gosh.
And then the other thing was that the contrast injector, the auto contrast injector also didn't work right. So she had to come in and manually hit the injector for.
So you had like an IV contrast?
Yeah.
You had like,
you get an IV stuck in.
Oh, because it's 55 minutes long, so they can't just do one injection. You're gonna have to do.
Well, I think they really only did the one injection, but it has to come at a very specific part because they have to do a bunch of stuff that's no contrast, and then they do some stuff that is. Okay. And the machine itself handles the injection whenever
Apparently
it's supposed to happen. But this time, no, that didn't happen, so she had to come in there. So there was like all of this sort of wasted time, and I was like, no, it's.
Where did you go to get this MRI? Jiffy Lube?
No, it was over here at the Winter Garden Advent Health Imaging Center.
Good Lord.
So that sucked. But MRIs, man, I would much rather not.
At least it worked though. Unlike my experience with we've talked about the dry cleaner I go to, and that they. I think on a previous episode of Accidentally Derivative, Jason talked about the dry cleaner experience, and he was like searching for a better experience, and then it turned out that like it's like a cabal. Like all of the dry cleaners in this area are all owned by the same company.
Oh wow!
It's all so like they have you in the system. Like it's kind of good and not kind of like you can't get a better experience, but at least you can go anywhere and they have your information. Like so they know exactly how you like your shirt's done stuff. So whatever.
It's good.
But the laundry on this part, I don't know if I explained that the dry cleaner, it went from like a normal dry cleaner to a 24-hour automated system.
Oh, weird.
So you go in and there's no people. It's like 2 kiosks. There's like a drop-off container that's like dropping like a mailbox. It's like it goes in, nothing comes out kind of thing. And you go to the kiosk and you put in your phone. You can register if you're a new person, but if you're not a new person, if you're like a 50-year-old, you go in there and you put in your phone number, and then in a loud voice, like, and it's like weird because it's this odd. It's not British, maybe it's South African. I can't tell exactly, but it's like, hello, Jason and Michelle. I can't do a South African accent to save my life, but anyway, hello, Jason and Michelle. Like,
hello, Jason.
yes, you can do it. Whatever it is, imagine that. And it's a little startling, but okay. And you tell them you're going to drop off clothes, or if like it'll tell you if you have to pick up, it'll say you have 3 items below for pickup, blah blah blah, and then you have to pay. You do your paying thing, and then that's when the magic happens. Because then in the background,
to say, this sounds like Jason's perfect
in the background
customer service setup.
You can see through the little glass, like a little glass thing. You can see the machine, the machine that usually the guy holds the button and it goes.
Yeah.
It starts to whirl on its own. It comes to life and it's doing its thing, and then it comes back and it slows down. It gets to your thing is. It's like a vending machine. Like your clothes hit the thing, it slides down, and there it is behind the glass. And it does, and then it keeps going, looking for the next one.
Oh wow!
Right? Yes. And then sometimes, if you have a lot of clothes, it'll pause. It'll say, "Please remove your clothes for the rest of the clothes because there's not enough space in this tiny little compartment." So then the glass slides open, and then you take your clothes out. They're on the hanger and everything, and then it's close back up, and then it's going to do its thing again if you have more clothes to get. It's amazing. And then even the bag that I bring it in gets returned on a hanger. Like, it's its own thing. It's really a lovely thing.
That's nice.
Yeah, I don't have to talk to anybody.
And you can pick it up at like 9 p.m. or whatever if you're like, we're at the restaurant and I remember I got dry cleaning I need
here's the
tomorrow.
Thing.
Then you go pick it up.
When you're dropping off dry cleaning and sometimes, there's the old school kind, you get there and you're like pulling your shirts and they're counting the shirts and they're counting the pants and they're counting your silk boxers and I'm kidding about the silk boxers, but they're like counting all the things. Right, all the stuff. And like, there's people looking at it like, I don't really, come on, do we have to do this?
This place, we have one federal bikini inspector shirt.
But this place, it does none of that. It does none of that. You put all your stuff in a bag all together. You drop the bag into the mail slot thing. It's gone, right? Somehow, when you pick it up, and I kid you not, as the stuff's coming, you can see the thing. The little computer screen is showing you what is coming, and it doesn't just tell you, oh, it's a shirt or a men's shirt or a blouse. No. It will tell you Tommy Bahama. It won't just tell you Tommy Bahama. It will describe the print to you.
Wow.
I know. It's amazing. It's fascinating. It's like, this is amazing. Okay, so I go there, get my haircut, and it's close to where I get my haircut, and I go in and I go in there and I'm picking up clothes.
Get your haircuts too?
Yeah, then the bigger stick your head in the thing. It's like Loki. if you've seen Loki this season. Okay. So they so I go in there and the one machine is just dark. Nothing's like it is. No one's home. Like I'm tapping the button, is not coming to life. I'm like, okay, go to the other kiosk. Thankfully that's on. And I hit this, start to do my thing, and it is taking forever to load anything. Like I put my phone number, I'm waiting, and then finally it like comes to life. I'm like, okay. And then I'm trying to put my stuff in, and I'm waiting, and this is crazy. I get to the point where it's time to pay. I pay. It takes so long for it to process the payment, that the screen times out.
Oh God.
And so now I don't know whether I've actually paid for anything. I don't know whether I don't know. I have no idea. So I call. There's a little help button, like call for help. Like I hit the little help button on the screen, and I hear above my head, like from heaven, a phone ringing, like an old school phone ringing. Like, oh, this is interesting. And it's ringing, and I'm waiting for somebody who I can't really understand to come on. And no one ever gets on the phone. It just
No
keeps
one's
ringing.
home at
No
Cleaner
one's
Central.
there. So I hang up. I hit end or whatever. It hangs up. Then there's a door, and on the door, because apparently there's a tailor or something, and I can only imagine there's this guy in the back just watching this all happen, just like sitting there eating food and just kind of watching this all happen. And it says on the door, like, ring bell for service between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and it was in the middle of that. I'm like, okay. It's like probably 1 o'clock. I'm like, okay. I know it's not his job to troubleshoot this, but I need a human being to help me figure out what's going on. So I ring the little bell. Ding dong. Oh, geez, do we need all of that? Like, come on. No one ever comes out. Like, I'm a hello. Like, no, really?
They just
Like,
abandoned that location.
I can't do anything. Right. So I'm like, I gotta get my hair cut though, so I'm gonna be late. So I text Michelle. I'm like, can you call somebody, call these people, and like let them know that this is not working, and then I'll come back over and see. Like, I think they just need to reboot it. I'm like, just tell them they need to reboot. Just tell them they need to reboot. Maybe they can just do that remotely. So when I'm finished my hair, hey, any updates, whatever. She said, I haven't heard back from them, but I did talk to somebody, and they said they were dispatching like a technician or something. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. So I go over there, no technician there, but everything's working. Everything's working. But they charged me, but not for the same amount. I'm like, what? How am I don't understand. And I didn't get my bag back, so my bag still have to go pick it up. I think there's still somehow the system's still screwed it up enough that whatever I paid for initially, I never got. I still haven't gotten it. It's still there.
Yeah.
Right, it's still there. And this thing that I did pay for the second time, I got those things, but it was an incomplete package. It wasn't the whole thing. Which is a complete failure of the system. But you know what?
Yeah.
I still don't want the old way back.
Still don't want no people.
No,
that's the way. I think of we watched the last season of Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Oh, okay.
And they do a fantastic job of depicting New York in the 60s and late 50s and whatnot. And one of the things that Emily didn't even realize was a thing is the automat. And there's also one in Loki. Of course, it just has pie, but
not pie,
actual
pie. Yeah,
yeah, and like all kinds of different food. Like the people are back there making the food, and they just put it in the little windows, and all you have to do is go up, put some coins in, open the window, and get your food out.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And that's wonderful. It's fantastic. It's kind of like have you ever been to one of those conveyor belt
sushis? Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Those are
There's
the best.
There's one around here. There's one here that we need to go to.
I knew we
when
definitely
you're allowed to eat
need
real
to go
food
there.
again, we should go there.
Sushi works great. My diet is a completely low fat
with
diet.
rice.
But yeah, sushi
Okay, we should
works
totally
great
do that then.
for me.
Yeah, let's go to the conveyor belt place. Yeah.
Because then you end up with just like a stack of bowls, and they just kind of look at the color of the bowls, and then that's how much you owe. And it's just fantastic. I love that kind of thing.
I'm going to send you a little video that a friend of mine took, and that way you'll be able to describe it. It's I haven't been to a good like sushi, like a conveyor belt sushi place in a long time.
Yeah, me
and I
either.
don't know, it's never like the best sushi. Let's be honest.
No. But my experience has been pretty good. It's not like garbage sushi or anything. It's like truck stop sushi or anything.
No, here you go. I'm sending it to you right now, so you can take. Yeah, it's what is this place called? It's called Cura Kura, Kura Revolving Sushi. Kura Revolving
exactly.
Sushi.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, you see a little conveyor belt thing go by.
And I love
have
the
the categories.
I wasn't expecting the noise.
I have my
Yeah, that was great. Yeah. What I love though is the things that come by that are like desserts or something that isn't really Japanese. It'll be like banana pudding or something bizarre like
key lime pie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, well, yeah, obviously that's what goes with sushi, right?
Well, okay. I don't mind like plugging things by name. I don't always like kind of saying not great things about.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to do it. Now you and I have both been to this place.
Okay.
I don't, and every time I've gone to this place, there's something about it. It has nothing to do with the company. Every time I've gone to this place, there's something that leaves me wanting. And for some reason, I keep going back because there's always something about it that's like actually really good. And then so that has me go back, causes me to go back. But then I'm like, I don't know. And it's expensive, and it's gotten even more expensive. And I'm talking about Morimoto Asia in Disney Springs.
I remember my last experience there was kind of lackluster too.
Yeah. And sometimes it's the service, but sometimes the service is great. Yeah. And sometimes it's the food. Sometimes the food's really good. Like the Peking duck is amazing. It was amazing there. But I didn't get the Peking duck because the person I was with didn't want Peking duck because they don't like duck. But anyway, there's nothing wrong. You don't like duck? That's fine. More for me. But you can't, it's a Peking duck for two there. You can't just get it for one, right? Okay. I'm not going to be that guy this time. So now with Carlos, we get Peking duck all night long.
You're peeking at the duck all night.
No, not enough peeking. All right, so so we ordered this, and I don't even remember what it was. It was this. We ended up both getting the same thing. It was some kind of stir-fried rice thing, right? Okay. The most expensive stir-fried rice I've ever purchased in my entire life. Now it has duck in it. It's like duck, chicken, shrimp, like mixed together, whatever. Gold. Okay, this thing comes out. I don't know. Looks like it's in some geometric shape of some sort, and so the presentation's fine, whatever. And it comes, and they put it in front of me, and immediately, I know the smell, and it's not a good smell, but I know the smell. And I can name the smell. And the smell is 4-H.
Ooh.
It smells like 4-H. But people don't know what 4-H Club is. 4-H Club is like the farm club. It's like people who are raising
hands and
cattle, sheep, pigs, and stuff.
I don't know.
It's like the agricultural. If you've ever been to the state fair, there's always like that little 4-H.
Yeah.
And
it's a clover and there's H's on the 4 leaves.
Yeah. It smells like a barn. This dish smelled like a barn. And I thought to myself, well, maybe it's like cilantro. Maybe it's like...
Right.
Maybe it's just me smelling it and maybe I'll just adjust to it. I'll just adjust to it. And so I said to the person I was with, so do you taste this? Do you smell this? And he's like, yeah, that was just mine. I'm like, it's both. I think it's both of ours. I think it's safe. I think it's just the smell. It's the smell, all right? So I ate it. And he was eating. He ate his. And did
the taste did it translate into the taste as well? Or? No. Yeah, that's weird. And
it never got normal. It was always awkward. It was not a good experience. Okay. No. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, I can't believe. And I ate almost all of it, of course, because I was hungry. But that smell was with me the entire time. So because I thought it was like this is not a bug. It's a feature. Yeah. Like I think this is intentional. Whatever they've done here is intentional. I don't want to. Who am I to
Farm
question? Yeah. Whatever. So they come by later. You know, I think maybe a manager circulates by, and they do the whole,
Yeah.
so how is everything? So great to see. Thank you for coming. Like, how is everything? And I'm like, oh, it's wonderful. It's lovely.
Well, it would be
I mean,
tough to
it
explain
smells
why
like
you
4
ate most of the offensive rice.
I mean, it smells like 4-H, but it's wonderful. Which is what I really should have said.
Right.
But like, I mean, I don't know. It tastes fine, but it smells like 4-H. But I don't say that. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I don't.
I mean, I get it. I don't like. I mean, if this what's this guy gonna do about it? Like, give me more of this rice. Like,
Right? Would you like to try something else? I don't know. Do I have
we've
to pay
got some
for it?
3H rice. Would you try that? Is that?
Well, also, by the way, like the nigiri sushi that they have there.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, when you order that type of nigiri sushi, it's this is the fish is on the rice, little patty of rice, and
Sort of rectangle.
When you do, usually, how many pieces would you get per dish?
I would think maybe 5.
Well, no, that's in a maki roll. That's like in a roll, right? Like in a roll, you get like 6 pieces. In a nigiri, usually you get 2 pieces.
Oh,
2 pieces.
Okay.
Like 2 pieces. Like
Maybe
2.
that's what the
so,
knee and
so if there's
nigiri
2 of you, you get, it's fine. You get both get to have one. No, these are singles.
One.
These are singles that are, I kid you not. I almost laughed when she brought it out. Like, but I didn't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be that
this
guy.
is
But
it? What the heck?
But it's like when she brought
is
it out, I'm like,
Ichi-nigiri.
I think you forgot something here because it's not all
half
here.
of my dish.
Right, it's not all here. So I'm
Or is
pulling
it
up the
still
menu.
at the 4H getting smelled up real good.
Oh man, I'm telling you that. So for anyone who wants to order and have the 4-H experience, it is the, I believe it's the Morimoto Gomoko fried rice. Do you want to know how much this fried rice
Gomoko
costs?
means state fair.
Of course it does. Of course. Do you know how much this? Can you just tell me how much do you think this Gomoko State Fair fried rice costs? Just
Oh,
give it a
$28.
$31.
Oh, that's close.
You should have
31
been.
for fried rice.
Yes.
Even if it
Yes.
didn't smell like a barn, that's too much for fried rice, man.
Okay, and the nigiri sushi, these pieces of sushi, like this one piece, right? This one thing. They're like, I'm looking at the price list right now. I mean, like some of these, like the salmon. They got a couple of these salmons. One's from Denmark, actually. $12, $18, $14. Like for the single piece,
For
the size
one
of my
piece
thumb.
of this stuff?
Huh?
That's ridiculous.
That's crazy. That's what I'm saying.
That's pretentious. That's like
This is more expensive. I mean, this is twice as expensive as San Francisco. I'm like, this is crazy. It's crazy, and it was not even. It was half as good. It's like it's. And I'm sorry, Morimoto, but I'm not going to go back. I don't think, unless it's with somebody with the Peking duck, because I think that's still delicious.
Of course, it may be like $90 now.
Oh, it almost certainly is. Let's see.
Yeah.
We don't have to guess. We can know. Morimoto Peking duck is $79.
Oh my god!
Their miso glazed Chilean sea bass is $48. It's like the price of it's crazy. I don't understand.
There's some really good Chinese restaurants around here that make very good food and do not charge you a
Kung
fifth.
Fu Kitchen. Now that actually would kill you. No, that place would kill you because
probably
it's like
not.
it's dim sum and amazing stuff.
I have
But,
had Kung Pao chicken and it's fine. It works.
You've had Kung
Pao chicken.
Oh yeah, but Kung Fu Chicken. This place, it's right down place right down by on the other side of the street from the IHOP over in that area, close to where like Cicero is, and that's anyway. It's really, oh my god, it's amazing and it's cheap. I ate like all the things. And they don't have alcohol, so you don't have that jacking the bill up. I ate like all the things, and it cost after tip, including tip, $36.
Nice.
It was incredible.
Are they on
incredible?
The what's it? The Postmates, the Uber Eats and stuff like that.
No,
Because I don't really go anywhere anymore.
they're not. Unfortunately, they're not on there. But my sushi place, the one where I'm the mayor, they all of a sudden fell off of Uber Eats. I couldn't get delivery.
Really?
From them. Yeah. So then I ended up trying this other place that we had tried once before, and it wasn't that great. It's still not that great. But I did find
Consistent,
that
at least.
so I just switched to DoorDash, and now they were available on DoorDash.
Yeah, I've switched to DoorDash too. Yeah.
So I'm
Because
like,
the Uber Eats people, oh my god! So like Uber the pickup and take you places company and the Uber Eats are both using, I guess, the same GPS technology and GPS wayfinding technology that has not figured out how to enter our little townhouse apartment.
oh yeah,
It's
tricky.
And the thing is the last time we had somebody pick us up, it went like right to where we are, and for whatever reason that person just didn't trust it or whatever. But one of the things that it will do, and I can't figure out why it does this, is I think it's Google Maps that they're using, because Google will do this too, and that is they will go down Plant and then have you take a right on an imaginary road that doesn't exist. Basically, in order to go through, if you follow that line, you have to crash through a building to get into our parking area. And it's like there's a street right there, and it goes into here.
So do you go out and flag them down like, hey?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have to every time. DoorDash didn't have to do that. They're using something that actually has figured out where the streets are, and so that's one of the main reasons why I'm like, oh, I'm doing DoorDash because
they also have this feature called Double Dash, which
Double Dash,
which I swear they need all these people that we're talking about, especially except for Morimoto Asia, should be our sponsors. But anyway, Double Dash, I'll tell you, imagine you're ordering your food, you're ordering your Chinese food or something, right? And you put the order in, and as soon as you hit the, order, right? It'll tell you like how long until you're going to get it. It then gives you another countdown, and it says like you have 11 minutes or whatever it is
for them to pick something else up.
And then it gives you a menu of the stores that are eligible, I guess, based on like.
I
the
love
vicinity,
that. That's very cool.
Right? So I'm like, oh, don't mind if I do. Okay, let's see what else I can get, because I couldn't get it all.
I'll have me some Gatorade or some eggs. Whatever.
I'm kidding you not. You could have them stop like any number of places. You want a bottle of wine with that? Sure. Have them stop at the liquor store. They'll do that. I'm like, this is incredible. So I put my order in because you know what I'm going to get? I'm going to get a little more gin. So I put in my little order thing, and I said, Alex, because he's 22, and I was like, do you need anything? Yeah. Actually, I didn't even ask him. I knew that he was out of stuff, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get him some rum that I like. I know he likes. It's gonna be a nice little treat. A nice little Friday night surprise treat. So I put that in. Okay, now I've got 2 orders on the window thing. 2 orders, like it's yes. This is amazing. Double, and it's gonna add a negligible amount of time on.
Yeah,
it's incredible
because they got to wait for your stuff to get prepared anyway, so they might as well pick some other stuff up.
Yeah, but that's further away. So I'm like, this is going to be interesting to see how they do this, because he actually kind of has to drive past our neighborhood to go to this liquor store and then come. But who am I to question? I don't have to I don't have to put on pants, right? As our friend Lou would say. I don't have to put on pants, right? So I then am waiting, and I see that it still says like waiting to confirm order at the liquor store. I'm like, man, what's going on? Like, apparently they're not paying attention to their system. So I start Google searching, like, why would this be a problem? And of course, like, that's what it is. Probably people aren't paying attention to their whatever their point of sale system is. But the time is, I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna make it anyway. So it does get processed, but I guess and my food order was taking so long out in Ocoee, which is where the sushi place is that I like. Like now, I'm like, they're not going to make the delivery window. Well, guess what? System self-corrects, and for no extra money, they dispatch a second driver to pick up the second order for no extra charge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now that's cool.
I'm like, this is amazing. Until he gets to the door, and he's got one thing, and it happens to be Alex's thing. I'm like, I think there's supposed to be another thing. No. Like, it's just one thing. I look at the receipt. Sure enough, one thing. I go back to the app, and like, they were out of whatever it was that I was ordering. And they just refunded me instead of asking whether I wanted. Instacart will ask you, like, hey, do you want to substitute?
Yeah.
They didn't do that, and that was a little irritating because I gave
You'd be
the
like-
guy a tip based on, like, those
How well
extra
he did
thing.
with the, yeah.
No, based on the extra, because based on the price, because that's what we do in America. We say, okay,
yeah.
like doesn't matter that you're carrying two things. If one of those things was expensive, you're going to get more money. I don't know why we do that. I don't know why we do that, but we do that.
Yeah.
It's true. It's
that
true.
does-
You know it's true.
Doesn't make a lot of sense, I guess.
No, but that's what we do.
Yeah, well,
Why? I don't know why.
for
we do
whatever
that.
reason, we're subsidizing these.
we should tip by weight.
Yeah, and
Like if-
time.
Yeah,
Like how much time it took 'em.
if this is heavy, I'm going to like Instacart people. I tip them a lot because that's going to the grocery store.
It's the grocery store, yeah.
Oh my god, that's a pain, right? But like, you know what? If you're just carrying one little thing, I don't know, I feel like, but I'd still end up doing it. I still end up
Yeah,
tipping
yeah.
like crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that
But-
if it was
but
a
the
really
guy-
expensive bottle of wine or a really cheap bottle of wine, the tip would be different, and it's the more or less the exact same job.
But no, this wasn't. I don't think it was this guy, but it's recently. We've talked about the approval ratings before,
yeah.
right?
Who
And one of my
gave you
one
a
of the-
3?
one of the drivers recently, it said 95% approval out of 2,707. And I was thinking to myself, how? Because you don't get to see the individual ratings, so you don't know, like,
Yeah.
are they?
Was it one guy that
most-
gave him a 1 that screwed up his average? Or was it 15
Had-
guys that
but
gave him
2707,
4s?
it's going to take a lot to get
Yeah.
to 95, right? Like, did maybe he started off really poorly and then got better over time? Or maybe now he's like slacked off. Maybe it's not so great anymore, but he used to be amazing. But now
Yeah,
we're on
true.
the tail end. He's actually, now he's sliding down. Like next week he's at 85 or something. You don't know what you're getting then. So I used to be shocked and amazed by the people who had like 100% with like 2,000 or 3,000 deliveries. Like, how is that possible? But now I'm
Right.
actually a little more curious about how you end up at 95%. Mm-hmm. It feels
And
like such a
honestly,
weird,
it should
cuspy
be
number.
like it should be an average of your last like 30 jobs, right? Because like you said, he may have just not been very good at it at first. Because like you start with this thing, and sometimes it's tough to get your rhythm down and figure out what you're doing, and then like you shouldn't be still riding an average that's been pulled down by those first 3s and 2s that you got when you started.
Certainly not. And but
Especially
because
if that was
I've
like
had
a
enough
year
people
ago.
now where I've had like 3,000 at 100% or 99%.
Mm-hmm.
Now I get a 95 and I'm immediately suspect. I'm immediately suspicious. Like, oh, come on. He can't be any good. He's only got 95.
The bizarre scale that we work at these days. 95%. You suck.
95. What's wrong with him? Like, how do you get 95?